Hi, it's Marianne, and it is trivia season in St. Louis, and I have something to teach you about how to be a better fundraiser when you have big events like this. And it is understanding the relationship of commitment and compliance and how to identify it. So commitment just means I have a heart relationship with an organization. I have an affinity for what they do. We have the same heart. We want the same outcomes. Compliance means that I am compliant to the behavior or norms of society. So I am compliant because compliance just means, hey, I'm going to buckle my seatbelt because that's what you do. Or I'm going to spay and neuter my pet. Even that wasn't something we did routinely 20 or 30 years ago that we do now. Now I'm compliant to that. I don't have to love it. I have to be committed to it. I'm just compliant. So we have these big trivia nights and we invite teams of people in. So I get invited to a trivia night by a friend or a family member, and I go because I am committed to my friend or family member. I am not committed to that cause. I'm committed to my friend or family member. When I go to that, the nonprofit can often say, well, I'm there, so I must be interested. I'm there because somebody invited me. And even though somebody I know, like, love, respect, invited me, doesn't mean that I am going to be more committed to your cause. That does not mean that there's anything wrong with who you are or what you do. It just means that we cannot change what's in people's hearts. We find the like-minded people and attract them to us. So if we're not going to be able to change these compliant to committed, then that's okay. We understand, because compliance at an event is amazing. You get people to come and do what you want them to do. They're gonna, for Foster Adoptive Care Coalition, we have Hope in a Handbag. Man, there's hundreds of women who come and buy handbags. They're not necessarily repeat donors of the organization outside of that event, but they show up strong for that event and they spend a lot of money. So that's okay. We just know that we're probably not going to get a lot more out of them than coming to that event. They're compliant to that event. They're not committed to the cause. They would probably go to the event even if it supported a different charity. That's okay. We just understand that we may not get more than a 3 or 4% conversion rate up to regular donors from that group. Yet there's a 3-4% of people in that room who are committed, and we don't want to overlook them. So this is what makes it exciting for you. So I just went to trivia night for Arch City Defenders. Love them. Okay, wrote about them in my book, talked about them on podcasts. Love them. I follow their work, and I made a point to introduce myself to the executive director, told him how happy I was to be there, that I was excited to participate in this event because I love this group so much. Ding, 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 ding. I am demonstrating commitment. I am demonstrating that I have an affinity for this group beyond the affinity I have for the person who brought me. So this is what you can do at events. Deploy your people. Deploy your committee. Deploy your board, deploy your staff that's not running around and getting stuff done for this event to listen for cues of commitment among the compliant. I couldn't wait to come here. I've loved you guys forever. They may be there like buying a big auction item or doing a fund and eat and you've never heard of them before. Listen for that, for commitment. Listen for what people are telling you. And, a lot of times at these events, we have these casual conversations and we're kind of filling the air. This is your chance to really dial in and listen for commitment among the compliant. And this is not to dissuade or dismiss anything about being compliant. Because, when my brother says, come to this event for my granddaughter's preschool, I'm going to come to that event because I love my brother and I love my nephew and my niece and my great niece, and I will come and I will show up. But I love them. I'm not going to love the institution as much as they do. And this is not a knock on anything. This is just being realistic about our relationships, because what happens is all those people come to the event. We say, woo, we had 800 people here, and you're going to add those to your mailing list, and then you never hear from them, or you email them and they never respond. Well, that's because they were compliant to that event, not necessarily to the cause. So here's what you can do after the event to help you understand who's committed. If you've got a bunch of people that you don't know, they're not on your database currently, and they show up, I shoot them an email, shoot them a special email, And that email is going to invite them to something. It's going to invite them. And what you're doing is inviting the people who are committed to kind of stand up, giving them the opportunity to get to know you better. Hey, we're going to have a lunch and learn at our office. Or just, hey, thank you so much for coming. If you want to, we were so glad that this was your first, this was your first time with us. We were so happy to have you. If you want to learn more, we're doing this at our office. We would love for you to come. Or invite them, thank you for coming. So glad to meet you. Would love to have a conversation with you around how you could be more involved. And just leave it at that. No solicitation, very open, very friendly. Just allowing those who are committed to be like, yes, you recognize that I may be more committed and are inviting me to demonstrate that. And everyone else, you kind of just got to live and let live. You can keep them on your mailing list. You can just remember that your job, you cannot convert people. You cannot convince people of the worth of your organization. Your job is to connect with like-minded people. So by having these fantasy relationships where if I just email them one more time, if I just mail them one more time, then they're going to be committed. Then they're going to start donating. That's probably not true. And that's what clogs up our email, that clogs up our mailing list. And that's what makes fundraising hard. So we're going to think in quality, not quantity, the quality of people and allowing them to stand up and be committed and letting the rest be and letting them participate at the level they do participate at, but not really expecting or asking for anything more. So I am so glad to teach you this concept today, and good luck with your events and good luck with your trivia. And if you need anything else from me, please feel free to reach out to my website, mariannedurst.com, or email me at marianne@mariannedurst.com and ask me any questions that you would like to learn more about. Have a great day.